Good day and welcome to another On the Web Wednesday, which is brought to you by SLA's Leadership and Management Division, now known as the Community, and it's sponsored by Dysart and Jones Associates. I'm Rebecca Jones of D&J, and I want to welcome and thank Chrissy Gellick, who is going to guide us through TikTok today.
Great, thanks Rebecca.
So much,
Hi everyone, I'm Ray Pun. As Rebecca mentioned, I'm the other half, the co-chair of the Professional Development Committee for LMD. Really excited to have this session here and all of you for joining. This is a particular topic on TikTok. So it's this video streaming app and sharing app, and if you were wondering what it is and how to get started to promote your libraries or to engage with your communities and users, this is the place to learn. And really happy to have Chrissy Gellick, principal and founder of Librarian at Your Service LLC, who's also on the LMD board with us to give this demo. Take it away, Chrissy.
Thank you, Ray, and thank you, Rebecca and Jane, for having me. And I'm glad Rebecca actually polled the audience regarding their either familiarity or their awareness of TikTok. And it's a mix of those that never have heard of it or have heard of it through the news or haven't used it and so forth. So hopefully this session could change your mind to actually just exploring it a bit. And before I proceed, I provide my sessions very informal. So if you do have any pressing questions, please post them to the chat and Rebecca will interrupt me and I could address them at that moment in time. Anything in depth, I will answer briefly and then defer towards the end. This is basically my Who Is Me slide, rather than having just a bullet line of my basic credentials. We are all information scientists and librarians, so of course it's presented as a word cloud. And the terms that you see before you are a mixture of both professional and personal adjectives that describe me. Though my husband and I, we live outside of Boston, I am originally from New York City, raised in New Jersey, so hence, yes, I am a Jersey girl, and I do have a scientific background. I actually opened up my own consulting business about 5 years ago, and after being on the inside for corporate libraries. And I'm into tech, science, and also, and that includes social media. Oh, and though I am outside of Boston, being that I'm from the New York City area, I am a baseball fan. Go Mets, even though, yes, sometimes I can be embarrassed to acknowledge that. But if there's any fellow Met fans in the audience. Okay. So the who, what, and where of TikTok. For those that may have only heard it in passing, as Ray had mentioned in the intro, it is a video sharing app, specifically a short form mobile video, because that it's not an elongated video like what would be found on Vimeo or YouTube. They're designed to be short clips. And the historical background is that even though you may have only recently had heard of it this year, especially during the lockdown and the quarantine situations from the pandemic, it's been available outside of China since May of 2017. Of course, it was first founded back in 2012. So it has its history. The company that owns it is ByteDance. And TikTok is not their only product. I have a list of the products there. If you want a little bit more about it, I've put the URL on the slide deck, which this will be available on my website and also on the media that Rebecca had mentioned in the beginning. A little trivia point is that the founder and owner of ByteDance, prior to forming ByteDance, had actually founded another company, another app called Cooksoon, which was a travel app very predominantly used, or probably still used, in China. And that particular app was acquired by TripAdvisor. Now, I speak of the acquisitions because I'm sure, unless you have been avoiding any sort of news throughout the pandemic, you're probably aware of that TikTok has triggered some issues within the U.S. market, and especially from POTUS. And one of the recent developments is that there have been executive orders issued, not only on TikTok, but other Chinese apps in terms of their use in the U.S. Of course, this is still pending. And then there is also a time limit of the acquisition, and there's a number of parties that have expressed interest. The predominant ones that you may have first have heard of is Microsoft. Twitter has expressed interest, but to a limited extent, and the newest party is Oracle. There's a couple of other parties that have expressed interest, not specific to the US market, but also for other markets like as in India. Now, being that the development for the this type of social media platform for these short video clips has taken storm, there has been development among other competitors, specifically under the Facebook umbrella. You probably all know, or maybe you don't know, that Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, or IG or Insta, if how you may want to refer it, has recently introduced a competition to TikTok called Reels. And I have that linked. And in fact, it was really publicly released this month. So that's something I do encourage you to also explore as well, because it's another forum to develop these short clips. So whether or not you want to develop TikTok for your own brand awareness or training, you do have an option with other platforms such as Reels, even though it's still relatively new. Or if you don't develop it as any sort of branding awareness, you could still use it as a resource. So, and don't worry, we won't just be on the slide deck. I'm a big proponent of going live, so we will go live. Blessing to the demo gods. But these are actually just snapshots of the most popular hashtags related to librarians. There's librarians of TikTok and libraries of TikTok. So if you go into TikTok and just do a search on those two hashtags, you will come up with a whole bunch of video clips related to both. There is one particular a TikTok user who is sorry about that, a TikTok user.
So to-do list, we should probably replace that with a computer.
Trying to minimize my screen here. There we go. Apologies for that. the TikTok user Kelsey Bogan, who was quoted in a school library journal article by Kelly Jensen, that talks about how if you're a librarian, you should be on TikTok, at least for the purposes of not only just branding, but even just getting an idea of what your target audience is doing. And I specifically like, in fact, even this is a nice little screenshot, positioning my cursor over the one that says the proverbial question, what do librarians actually do? Because I'm sure that's something that we've also always addressed that. So I linked to that article there, and that article in itself provides a nice little snapshot of some key tips that you can do in order to get started. And they're very practical tips, and you don't have to go all in, but that's one way to dive right in. And whether or not you're a developer of TikTok or a user, or even just what I would call the lurker, that you just use it as a resource and just get ideas, it's worthwhile for that exploration. Making sure you could still hear me, because I think I heard the tone that my headset went off. But give a shout out if you can't hear me, if you just look like that I'm miming. So besides a platform for librarians, it's a platform for other topics and other messages. Now, what I've listed here is just a few, and with the snapshots. It's with health, and as you can imagine, one of the predominant messages that needs to be communicated, especially during this year of the pandemic, COVID-19, is to wear a mask. So again, you can search on wear a mask, and you'll pull up a whole bunch of those video clips, and you'll see much of those TikTok users are people in the health profession, whether it's a physician, physician assistant, nurse, nurse practitioner, or even a pharmacist. They're on TikTok. It's also for family. There's a very popular hashtag, babies of TikTok, which they're adorable clips. And it's also a forum for even exercise. There's various challenges that even get you moving. One of the popular ones that happened early in the year was the plank challenge. So if you just do a search on plank challenge, you get a whole video clips of people doing planks of all ages, and it either as a group or individually. And of course, with causes as well, because if you just do a TikTok search of Black Lives Matter, you'll see the video clips associated with that. And the list goes on and on. And like any other social media platform, it is a resource for CI. So that's something that even if you do a search for, my background's in the sciences, you could plug in a life sciences company name, such as like Pfizer, and you will get relevant hits that could be useful in your resource. All right, so now let's TikTok, because it is a mobile platform. So a lot of the features that you will need to, that you will be doing will be on your mobile, but there is items that you can do through your desktop. So Rebecca, as I just switch screens here, I just wanted to make sure, were there any questions that have come through?
No, I'm wrong. No, the only place you can look at it.
No questions yet, Chrissy. We hear man's voice, and I didn't know the only one not muted is you. So I'm just wondering, can you hear that man's voice?
Oh, Yes, I can. And apologies, since obviously I can't mute, but that is my husband. Even though we have a larger office, we do
Okay.
share the office, and it can be, and we're both on calls. So hopefully it's not too distracting.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Chrissy.
There might be an admin issue. I'm not sure if everyone can just use the list. It may be a question.
I was trying to play
But that's the whole idea behind using
dumb there, but
because, you know, it's not like you have
okay. So I just want to make sure, give a shout out if you don't see what looks to be my phone.
lists are out there. You don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to go to the AEM.
Excellent.
555 students.
All right. So of course,
It's all
this is the mobile app for TikTok, and it is available both on iOS or Android. So whichever phone you have, it's, you know, you're able to access. And this is actually just the home screen, and depending on what you want. But the thing I just want to address here is that this is where, through the mobile app, where you would need to perhaps just adjust. Now, as you can see, I would classify myself more or less like a lurker. I haven't yet developed any videos yet. I'm still gathering ideas, though. Even with that said, without content, I'm gaining followers, because just like with any other social media platform, it is a medium for community. So when you start leveraging the platform, and if you do start it as just, you know, to as a lurker, to get ideas, you know, you could authenticate using your own login, or you could connect it with other social media apps. And let's say even if you do connect it using, let's say, your Facebook app, you could still go in there and just edit your profile. Oops, no. Oh, I actually want to go into that. This is an individual account, but if you did want to switch this for your own library, your own business, you can switch it to a pro account. It really acts the same way as with whether it's Twitter or Insta, where you do have the choice between individual or business, or you could toggle between the two. You can do that. But a lot of that functionality needs to be done on the phone. You can't do that on the web. And then you could specify your other sort of preferences there. And if you click on edit profile here, this is where you can adjust your username, which would be automatically applied to your handle. So it's similar to your Twitter handle, Insta handle, and so forth. Now, you do have the ability to change your handle every so often, but you can only do that once every 30 days. So, yeah. And of course, you could add a bio. I myself, I still classify again as a lurker. I haven't updated the bio yet. I'm still toggling between whether I want individual or pro. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you could just dive right in, get started, and then just get the sense of the platform and how you actually want to use it. And then when it comes to this little, what looks to be like the bookmark icon, if you click on that, this is where any of the items that you've selected as favorites will appear. Now, this is something that will, again, only be accessible through the mobile app and not through the desktop platform. I'll toggle to the desktop so you can actually see. But here is a way to see, and we're actually just going to go ahead. I'll click on one, and we probably won't be able to hear. But here's that video clip responding to what do librarians actually do. And going back to those best practices on those tips from the school library journal that I mentioned early in the session, one of those tips is to be cognizant of the hashtags that you use. So, you know, when it comes to with the librarians of TikTok is one of the prevalent ones. So you want to make sure that is associated with your clip. And then any other hashtag that's relevant to the topic, whether it's librarian, whether it's corporate, or whatever it might be, or if you want to emphasize training, but you want to make sure that most prevalent hashtag is included. FYP, that's another general tip for any TikTok user that is developing content. That basically means for your page, and that emphasizes that if the more and more that you like the content, it's going to associate with similar type of content, hence the for your page. And that will come up with other associated hashtags like the babies of TikTok, Black Lives Matter, wear a mask, and so forth. So of course, this doesn't have the video, but because I have muted it so to minimize any sort of feedback. But you could go ahead and play around with that yourself. Now I'm actually just going to toggle to so this is the web access, and I'm already logged in now. Whereas you can start to upload your video through the web. You could do that through the mobile, but that's really limited, including even changing either your handle or looking at your favorites. So probably over time that might change, but for now it's just a matter of knowing what you can do through the desktop view versus the mobile view, and most of the time it will be on the mobile view. So we're just going to go ahead, and if you just want to continue to browse, and that's just through the Discover. This comes up with the more prevalent hashtags at the moment of time. So, and again, anything can be created as a hashtag, but you want to be deliberate with the hashtags. That's another thing that you want to keep in mind to, start to review the video clips out there and see what are the prevalent hashtags to be used. So then that way, if and when you do start adding content, it will be discoverable and noticed. So in terms of CI, let's see. Well, I won't search Oracle because I'll do Microsoft. So let's see if we just actually search Microsoft. And just on a simple search of just Microsoft, these are the various video clips that come up, and the more prevalent users to get an idea. And this is actually kind of funny. So it's surprising the amount of information that can be found on TikTok, which is like any other social media platform. So whether you use it as a content creator or whether you use it as a resource, I definitely recommend for you to at least just start. Now, a word of warning is that when you start looking at the videos, many of the videos are associated with musical clips that you will find them stuck in your head. So you could probably thank me for those various earworms per se. So as their mission implies, it does inspire creativity and joy because it's just a matter of enjoyable clips. Now, there can be certain video clips that can be a little depressing, but they're still informative because usually the ones that are depressing try to convey a certain message. Now I'm going to actually go back. And we could go back to the actual platform here. But I just, oh, sure.
It's Rebecca. Sorry, Anne just asked, can you explain what the hashtag FYP is supposed to do again? She didn't quite understand it, and neither did I, so I'm glad.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Okay. Oh, forget I go. Oh, okay. I just want to get to that resource page. And it's F as in Frank, Y as in yellow, and P as in Peter, FYP. That stands for your page. And what that does, and you'll find that as you start to explore the TikTok videos, most of the videos will have that hashtag in addition to the other hashtags that are associated with a particular video. And what that does is that it helps to promote that particular video for distribution, because especially when it's associated with the other hashtags, once you actually land on that, and if you like it, and if you continue to like similar type of video, when you first log onto TikTok, whether it's through the desktop or through your phone, you're going to find yourself finding similar videos. So you want to make sure you actually do put FYP on it for your page, because it helps to promote your content, whether your content, if you want to do it as an individual creator or if you want to do that pro account. And hopefully that, does that minimize the confusion with FYP?
Yep. Is that okay, Anne? But oh yes, her point is, if everybody's using that particular hashtag, how does it promote your page?
Oh, because because when you use it, you use it with your specific video. So your video is not associated with just FYP. It's linked to the other hashtags you're tagging your content with.
Okay. I think we have to experience it, Anne.
Exactly. But from the info science point of view, I do link out at least two articles, both relatively recent, one more than the other, about librarians and TikTok. Now, it's really coming more or less from the academic point of view. However, content is content, branding is branding, whether you're academic or corporate, you could still apply the similar principles that I definitely encourage you to at least review those articles and even give a follow to Kelsey, that's the article from April. She was actually quoted in Kelly's article, and yes, she has quite a bit of content on TikTok, and even the Kelly's article does suggest other TikTok handles to follow that are, of course, in the library information science space. Now, for those techies among us, just the way that there's a developing platform with other social media, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, and so forth, there's one for TikTok as well. I do encourage you that if you do start getting a TikTok handle and content created, go into their support center and that to get more tips on really updating your profile, updating the clips. And I did not put it on this resource page, but it's in the slide deck of the link to the competing platform from Insta called Reels. And that's and who knows, that could be a subject for another webinar comparing TikTok and Reels, especially to see what would happen to TikTok in the US.
Hey, terrific. Are there any questions for Chrissy? Chrissy, there is a demand for your slides, so I know you'll put those up on the community page. And I was just reminding everybody that in YouTube, if you just search for /SLALMD, all the videos are there. I'm just having a look to make sure that I have put that on all of them. But they're also on the LMD community site.
Yep, and I will be putting also my slide deck on my website at librarian@yourservice.com. That includes all my contact information as well as my social media platforms, whether that's Twitter, Insta, or LinkedIn. So feel free to follow me on there, because once I do put it up on my website, I will promote it through those platforms. Not yet on TikTok, because again, I'm still classing myself as a lurker, gathering information. But between now and then, if there is a burning question, feel free to reach out to me, and I could I'll be happy to just email you a copy of the slides before putting it up on my website.
Great, thanks, Chrissy. I just had a question or a thought. Do we know if SLA, any of the communities, are actively having use TikTok or have an account? Do you know?
Ooh, now that's an excellent question, Ray. I do not know, but that's something that could be maybe sent out as a poll to see if there are, whether it's through the community or if there are others among us that are actively developing content. Now, I'm obviously Kelsey is, but being that she's more or less an academic librarian, I'm not sure if she's an SLA member. But that might be something
Member
to
of the
explore.
academic division.
Right, exactly. So you never know.
Catherine's on here, and I'm sure that she'll be contacting her, won't you, Catherine? Good point, Ray. Very good point. Wow.
Excellent point. Yep.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I know that that Ray's looking into a couple of more sessions like this, and SLA Canada will be having Gary Price on September 10th. Gary joins us regularly to give us updates on sources and sites and various media revelations that he has, and those are all on the Dysart Jones site as well. So we are delighted that you joined us today. We hope to see you again.
Yeah.
And have a great day.
Where we notify.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Ray.
So, yeah.
Bye.
Bye, Ray. Thanks again, Ray.